What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Loki, Episode 1, Glorious Purpose. And this episode's kind of special to me because this is my debut in Marvel, just anything. I was in this episode, guys. Like, you might not have seen me because see, once you get to this little spot right here, right? Yeah, and he's like looking up, and there I am. I'm working at a desk. That me. That's the back of my head. Yeah. It's not the last Marvel project I worked in, but it was the first one, so I felt pretty cool to actually be a part of something Marvel related. But anyways, with that being said, of course this also means that some of what I saw on set is still in my brain. So I'm gonna have to like talk about this stuff with, of course I didn't see too much. Like I'm not like sitting over here like holding all the spoilers. Like I don't know a whole lot. So don't think like I'm sitting over here like I know everything about the story. So everything, don't read too much into my words. This is basically what I'm saying. No, but I mean, for a first episode, very good introduction to this series. I don't know if it's going to be a season, like a one season type thing, similar to WandaVision. And I think they said they were going to do another Falcon and the Winter Soldier season. But I don't know for sure. So I don't know if this is going to be a one-off or what, but yeah, very interesting, introducing the TVA, introducing this concept of time and how it works in the Marvel Universe, and possibility for plot holes, possibility for confusing and not really making a whole lot of sense in the long run. They did sort of tie in, because, I mean, when we're watching, the first thought that instantly comes to mind is, of course, wait, so if Loki escaping broke the timeline, then how come the Avengers could go back in time and mess up the timeline in the first place? Like, why was that allowed? And of course they throw in the line where it's like, oh, the Avengers were supposed to do that. You escaping was not supposed to happen. So if I understand this right, it sounds like, there's the multiverse. There's all the different timelines. Well, since there was this multiverse war in the past, it sounds like the Timekeepers decided we're just going to put all the timelines on the same path. So even though there are several different timelines, they're all doing the same thing. So if any of them vary too much, then it's like, okay, well, we can't have that because we don't want them to be so different that there's a war between them. But if they're all the same, then there's nothing to war over. Kind of like, just basically anything. If everybody's the same, then there's no reason to really fight each other because we're all the exact same. So I think that's kind of the premise they're going with here. Kind of makes sense, and also kind of have some questions, because like, what's too far? Like, how do they measure that? How do they, when they reset it, does it just destroy that timeline, or does it kind of wipe everything and put it back on everybody else's timeline? If so, how do you differentiate the timelines? There's a lot of weird existential stuff that you could really bring into this show, and frankly, I'm too tired to think about too much of it. But yeah, I mean, I assume they've got some good stuff going here. I don't know much about like the Timekeepers or anything from the Marvel comics, so I don't know how much of this plays from the comics, and maybe this is completely new. Probably not. It's probably based on something. But yeah, I mean, I like how they're handling it so far. Owen Wilson, I think he's doing a good job with his characters so far. There were a couple weird lines, but they were more weirdly written, not weirdly delivered. But he's nailing it so far. I like the banter between him and Loki. Just some really good moments, make you laugh type moments. And then, I mean, for Loki, it's very on character for him to, he wants to find a way out. He's looking for his first way out. And then when he finds it, he manages to escape and he's trying to get away. But then he comes back to that room and he gets curious. And I think most people in his shoes would, like, what happens? Since they can show more than just what he's seen so far. And so he does see his future. And yeah, I think his reaction is very normal for him. Like, to see what he went through and to see what he ends up with. I mean, it would be a little disheartening to just see, like, this is really what you're telling me I have to do. Like, this is my future, just to die at Thanos' hand. Like, that's it. So I think it's very justified. And honestly, it makes me kind of wonder what his end game is going to be. You know, what is his goal? Because Loki is somebody that doesn't want to be controlled. I mean, as the god of mischief, of course he doesn't want to be controlled. He wants to create chaos. He wants to do everything that he can to break out of his destiny, if that's what you want to call it. So seeing that his destiny is just to die at the hand of Thanos is, while he did have some nice moments, you know, he was able to reconnect with Thor later on and he was able to help him, to see that, and especially this version of Loki to see that, because this is before all that happened with his mom and then with Odin and all of that. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to take it as like a, this is my chance to help out and do something and make something better of myself so that way I don't have to go back to that horrid timeline, or if it's going to be like he sees this as an opportunity to get this power that surpasses even the Infinity Stones, you know, because I will say it was a pretty hilarious visual gag for him to grab the Tesseract and then he looks down and there's just so many Infinity Stones in the drawer. Like, all of them are just there. He's like, are these Infinity Stones? Oh yeah, we have plenty of those. It was pretty funny to see, like, these stones that were such a big deal are now just like little rocks outside of the timeline. Like, who cares about them? And so, from his point of view, it could be, very much be seen as this power surpasses all of that, because here, the power from the Infinity Stones, the power of the Tesseract, is meaningless because it's outside of time and no magic exists there. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with Loki and with his story and how they're going to kind of build his character. Whether he's going to stick to this idea of being kind of the villain, being the one that wants to take more power and wants to just rule, or if he's going to start to turn over a new leaf, you know, kind of similar to the Loki we saw in Ragnarok and in Endgame or Infinity War. If we're going to see him start to try to make something of himself, you know, actually do something that means something, because I think deep down he just, there's that part of him that wants to be accepted and wants to be he wants to make people proud of him. So I don't know. I feel like they've got a good character to build this series around and really see what he's going to do from here. So I like that setup. The whole idea with there's this time variant that is going around killing the Minutemen and stuff, which I'm trying to remember, wasn't there like a Disney Channel movie? It was called Minutemen or something like that, and they were traveling through time. But you know, pretty interesting concept. At the end, Mobius, Owen Wilson's character, tells him that it's him, that it's Loki, is the time variant doing all this stuff, which, for one, kind of discounts something he said earlier, where he said that he tracks dangerous time variants, and Loki's like me. He's like, no, dangerous. You're just a pussycat. But then Loki is also the time variant that is doing all this stuff and is causing all this trouble. Like, I don't know. That's a little bit. I don't know. I don't know if that's just a random written line that they were just like, we'll have him make fun of him here, but then at the end of the episode they just forgot about that little joke they made, and so then it doesn't make sense anymore. Or if it's like somehow they think it's Loki based on what they're seeing, based on, I guess, what's happening. They're like, oh, well, it's a magic user like Loki, and there's illusions like Loki, so we think it's probably Loki. In which case, I mean, if they're an illusion user, then maybe they're pretending to be Loki, but it's not actually Loki. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. Of course, everybody's like, it's Mephisto! It's Mephisto! I have no doubt that'll be just flooding the internet again, which I think the Loki, was a director or writer or somebody, they came out and said, there's no Mephisto in our series, which I think everybody's going to be like, okay, so there's Mephisto in the series, right? Like, you're just like Paul Bettany coming out, oh, we have a fantastic cameo, and then it was himself as White Vision. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect. The girl pointed at like the devil that was on the, what's it called, the stained glass window. And I think Mephisto is kind of devil looking, so it's possible. It is possible that we might actually this time have Mephisto, guys. Just everybody calm down. It's happening. But yeah, I think, let's see, what else? I like the little intro video that they have at the TVA. It was funny because like I recognized the voice. I'm like, I know this voice, and then I looked it up. I'm like, oh, it's Tara Strong. Of course, I recognize her voice. Like, I'm pretty sure I grew up in the age where Tara Strong was just in everything. Fairly Odd Parents, Rugrats. God, what else? I mean, she was literally everything. Like, it was just everywhere. So I did like that little video though to kind of explain everything and just kind of the goofy nature of it and stuff. I think that's about it. Just all in all, I mean, it was a good first episode. It builds up this season very well, and it builds up kind of the mystery, the intrigue, and also a little bit of the zaniness. Like I really liked how they handled just the humor in this episode because it shows that the humor is a little different than we've come to expect from kind of a typical Marvel outing. Like there's this different style of humor to it, kind of similar to how Thor Ragnarok had a different style of humor than we're used to seeing. This kind of felt the same way, where it was a little bit different than anything we've seen in the Marvel universe before, and especially because it's surrounding Loki. One of his best things throughout the movies is whenever he was in pain. You know, something about just, I guess it's Tom Hiddleston's performance, like the way that he shows pain. It's just always so funny. It's probably the best thing about Loki's character. And that's a weird thing to say. The best thing about your character is how you show that you're in pain. But I think, you know, the fact that they're showing a lot of that as well, you know, at the beginning, it's just him constantly in pain. You know, he lands in the desert and he's like, oh, but then he gets up and he thinks he's okay, but then he gets smacked in the face and then he's slowed down, so he's feeling all the pain. You just see this slow motion. Like, they know what they're doing. They know we like to see Loki in pain, so that's what they're doing. So yeah, I can't wait to see what else this season holds though, and keep an eye out for me in the background. You'll see me in a little bit here and there, mainly in that one area with the big screen. That's where I was, so keep an eye out for me. Anyways, with all that being said, though, that's it for this first episode. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts in this episode? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Loki reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.